about a visit I made to Zuccotti Park a couple of days ago. Initially, I was a little disappointed. It wasn't as large as I expected, even though I knew that it was one square city block. So I began walking around the periphery and listening to people that were in conversational tones making statements into a microphone about why they were there. I listened to some music and watched some people dancing. I noticed that a lot of people had buttons, and I wanted one, so I looked around. I didn't see where they were, but I saw that a woman was leaving the park and had one of those buttons. So I went up to her and just asked, "Where did you get it?" And she hesitated for a minute and then said, "Look, I'll show you." So we walked through the park to where a man had set up a table and with a machine was making these buttons. So I got one for myself and one for my wife, and began thinking about what I had seen just in that short walk. They've set up a little library. There's a place for religious articles. There's a pile of sleeping bags, and there are people actually sleeping in the park, people that are living there. There's a bulletin board with notices about the day's weather and the upcoming weather, and also with a request to the people in the park to be respectful of the community around, not to be loud at night, and so on. I got the image of a human cell looked at under low magnification, where you get the feeling maybe there's not that much going on, and then you look under a little more powerful microscope and you begin to see all the structures and realize that a great deal is going on. I think a lot is going on in Zuccotti Park. There of course are people that are coming there just to observe and learn to see how to set up the same thing in their own communities, and this is something that may be awakening a very general sense in the United States, that the system has somehow lost touch with the needs of the people. There's been an increasing concentration of wealth and power, so that a very small group is now being served by the system, and the rest of us are not really being heard. There's been criticism of the Occupy Wall Street movement that it doesn't have an agenda, it doesn't have a set of proposals, but I think that for right now, that's exactly right. The sense that I get is, as with an alcoholic family, that the first casualty of that situation is usually truth. Everyone's denying that the alcoholism is going on. They're denying the impact that it has on every member of that family. And the first step isn't necessarily to come up with a series of proposals for how to deal with the alcoholism, how to treat it. Sometimes the first step is just acknowledging exactly what's going on and what the consequences and the costs are. And that's my feeling of what's happening with this movement. As I looked around, what's in effect a small town that's been created, I had a sense that exactly the problem in the United States right now is being addressed. And so when I left the park, it was with a feeling of encouragement, and I look forward to returning.